Hello there. In this video, I'm going to look at three interior features on the Q4 E-Tron that I think Audi have judged really well. Now, to be clear, this is a 2021 Q4 E-Tron. It's an S-line spec in the UK, so there'll be some differences in spec on newer models. However, a couple of these are just fundamentals that all Q4s will share. To start with then, the S-line seats in my car. I think they're fantastic. Really comfortable, good range of adjustment, a mixture of leather and fabric in mine. They do have fabric down the center console side, which is probably to stop leather rubbing against the plastic, which would cause a funny noise. But I think these are great seats. To give you an idea of scale, this is me standing next to the Q4. I'm just about 6'5" if I stand up straight, and around about 19 stone, 120 kilograms. I'm not a small guy. I find these seats really comfortable. Somewhere between the M Sport seats that I had in an old BMW 3 Series and the SE seats that we had in our 520 diesel. So with that in mind, this is me sitting in the seats. You can see how high up they come on me. Headrest doesn't interfere with anything that I'm doing when I'm driving. Plenty of headroom above me, so like 4 fingers worth. And that's the seat set roughly in the middle position. I've got manual seats in this car, so if I crank it up to highest setting, I'm much higher up, but I still have 2 fingers worth of headspace above me. Again, speed this up again, crank it all the way down. It's about 30 cranks to get this done. And it goes pretty low down, so there's a massive amount of space above me, and it's moving me a bit further back from the steering as well. But what about space in the back? Well, this is my seat back in its normal position, so not quite as far back as it'll go. I can get in. I can sometimes find the seatbelt clip. There it is, somewhere. But I have decent headroom, and my knees aren't touching the seat in front. There's room for me to move about, and that's with the seat set for me in the front. Next on the list are the cup holders in the front and bottle holders. Now, my car doesn't have rear cup holders because I didn't pay extra for that in the rear seat. But I do have the standard cup holders in the front, and cans of juice sit in there fine. They don't really go anywhere. This is a 750 milliliter bottle. Unfortunately, this one's been dropped, so it's a bit flat on the bottom. But those bottles are fine. The 500 milliliter ones are a bit tippy in there. If you've got the lid off, you'd have to be a bit careful. And then try a 1 litre drinks bottle. Again, different shapes and sizes fit in pretty well. You can get optional grippy bits to put in there, but I haven't got those. And then a small cup from a coffee chain and a large cup from an alternative coffee chain. They all fit in the cup holders just fine. What I find more useful are the bottle holders in each of the 4 doors. We use these all the time. So to demo, just go through the containers we had before. Can of juice drops down into there, or does disappear down. They're good for canned storage, but not ideal if the can's open, obviously. Reusable bottle, not a problem. And different sizes and shapes fit in there. The water bottle from before, the 750 milliliter one, fits in. And I have had 1 litre bottles of water in there. And there's a bit of space for it to move about, so you can fit a slightly bigger bottle in there. As I say, we use these all the time, and they are in all 4 doors. Finally, the way they've laid out the infotainment and the heating controls. So the screen initially might look a little bit disappointing in size compared to some rivals, but it is neatly integrated into the dashboard, and you do have the virtual cockpit to give you a bit more screen real estate. And a lot of the stuff that you would normally be using on the center console while you're driving, you can see in the virtual cockpit. So as you can see, I've moved the map over there. You control the virtual cockpit just using the steering wheel buttons. Dead easy to use. I have done a separate video showing you many different options in there. But you can have the dials big or small, and you can choose what goes in the center section. You can have one map running on the virtual cockpit, which is the Audi mapping, and you can have Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever running on the center console screen. The heating and ventilation controls as well, they're physical buttons, everything's dead easy to find. The ones at the side light up, and you just press them to get the thing you want. The ones that are the kind of chrome line on the bottom, they don't light up at night, but you can see them fairly straightforwardly because there's a reflection of the lights below them, and they just go up and down. There's nothing complicated here. On, off, up, down, that's it. When I'm driving, I tend to use a mixture of the MMI screen and the virtual cockpit. So I quite often drive with the sat-nav showing the photograph map. But I can have the radio displayed in the virtual cockpit, or warning messages, or I can shrink the dials down and have another copy of the map in there if I want to have two different maps running. That does mess with my brain a little bit, having two different maps running, so I don't do that very often. It's dead easy to control using the steering wheel buttons or a little tap every now and then on the center screen. At night, you can switch this MMI screen off to cut down on glare, as well as being able to change the brightness on all the instruments. But you can still view the maps and your radio or tracks that you're listening to in the virtual cockpit. As I said at the start, the specs have changed a bit, so I don't think you can get these seats in part fabric anymore. I think they're leather only from what I could see from the 2024 specs. But the fundamental seat design is the same, the adjustments will be the same. The cup holders, I don't have the optional grippy bits in the bottom there to hold cups a bit tighter, but I've never had any spills or anything, so it doesn't seem to be a huge issue. And the bottle holders are standard features, so they'll be in all cars. The MMI and virtual cockpit combination is great. I think there might be a slightly bigger screen by about an inch available for the MMI now, but again, it's still nowhere near the size of some of its rivals. It doesn't need to be. It's got all that functionality on the virtual cockpit as well. Plus, the HVAC controls aren't on the screen at any point, so you don't have to worry about using up some of the real estate for that. That was a whistle-stop tour of all the bits that I like, and that's all I've got for you in this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.